Since there are so many fashion-related little blurbs in Photoplay magazine, I thought I would organize them into little compilations, 3 of them to be exact. For some reason, 1923 had an especially large amount of them, which is why I made that first video a while back. For this video, I put together a few blurbs from the early years, 1920, 1921, and 1922. I'll cover the rest of the decade in future videos. Anyways, let's get into it. Look Who's Been Shopping. Photoplay, January 1920. Pictures that show us how we would appear were we as fair as Norma Talmadge and as well gowned. Suggestive of wartime days is the smart little hat with its military-like visor which Miss Talmadge wears at such a bewitching angle. Of gold embroidered brocade shot with black, it is very up-to-date with its monkey fur and raw ostrich feather trimming placed at the top of the crown. Miss Talmadge chooses for her evening wrap a gorgeous affair of black and silver brocade. Forming a most becoming background is the large collar of black velvet which is also used to face the sides. Monkey fur, of course, is the trimming, but to enhance its silky blackness, a fringe of heavy silver cord is used under each row of fur. There is nothing to take the place of a smartly tailored trottoir, and this is the type of frock which Miss Talmadge so very effectively wears for the busy hours of the day. Of Puritan-like simplicity, it has a narrow collar and cuffs and a tucked vestee of sheerest organdie. The black grosgrain ribbon tie is an attractive addition. It has been rightly said that black satin is the most striking color, and indeed, who would not look with special interest at a black satin frock having a lace underskirt and trimmings of jet where it is set off by the gleaming whiteness of beautiful neck and arms? Frances knew this when she designed it. There is nothing left to be desired in furs when one is the happy possessor of this coat from Russell's. Baby lamb being the material, it is easily draped, and so in draping this coat gets its smart effect. The voluminous sleeves in kimono style are widely cuffed with chinchilla, and this same fur makes the cape collar of unusual shape. Norma Talmadge is just the type to bring out the gracefulness of this draped frock. Satin with the most lustrous sheen is used for the girdle and cleverly draped skirt, while georgette of matching color forms the waist, collared and cuffed with the daintiest of net and lace. A single ornament with an enormous tassel is the only trimming a model so clever as she requires. We don't know who to admire most, Russell for making such a wonderful ermine coat, or Frances for such a bewitching, thoroughly youthful frock. We can't see much of the coat, but we're glad Norma did not entirely cover the soft drapings of this satin and lace model. Frances was daring, but nevertheless most successful in the satin frock of purple, overbloused with terracotta chiffon. And as if that were not enough, there's green, blue, and yellow worsted embroidery for good measure. When she is very, very youthful, well, no matter, we can't all enjoy a baby lamb coat richly but nevertheless youthfully trimmed with squirrel. And when there's a robin's egg blue brim to a squirrel hat that has tiny buds for trimming, one is bound to sigh over the years that have passed since Sweet 16. Why did Russell do it? A Page of Hats. Photoplay, September 1920. Raw ostrich feathers and monkey fur provide the decorations for this very smart street hat shown above. Miss Talmadge thinks of hats in terms of her own individuality. One of the advantages of the American type of face is that it looks best when the hat is simple. On the left is a girlish hat of taffeta with a fluted edge. Every woman could not wear the French creation shown above. If you are past the 30s and want to look your best, avoid a hat with sharp angles. This one is trimmed with wooden beads. A youthful hat for the very feminine woman who has a good complexion. A hat like this sets off any costume, lending just the right air of distinction to one's ensemble. A hat that turns squarely off the face is hard to wear, but Miss Talmadge has accomplished it in this hat of her own design. It is of taffeta, with a charming design embroidered in gold. In the fall, the well-dressed woman turns to thoughts of clothes. Photoplay, December 1921. Monsieur Bonnat has designed for you a marvelous wrap. It is quite the smartest I have seen for some time. It is of rich black duvetine with trimmings of caracole at cuffs and collar. The collar is the most extraordinary of all collars. It wraps around Madame's little neck in a generous fold, and follows the edge of her cloak to the hem. An Afternoon Frock, another of Monsieur Bonnat's creations. It follows the mode in every particular, but it is original. Of black and white, the favored combination of Paris and Parisians. Of black crepe de chine and white georgette. Of a distinguishing silhouette, the long waist, the uneven hemline, the sleeves, dreams. An importation from Paris, by Gidding of Fifth Avenue. A most amazing evening gown of Spanish inspiration. Of black velvet with a superb sweep, red flowers at the waist and adorning the skirt. It is long and trained. Madame, not mademoiselle, should wear this. It is for a brunette with flashing eyes and a marble brow. Perfectly charming shoes, and quaint as can be, of black satin, as you can see, with straps in a design of beads, and a saucy silk saucette. They belong to Betty Compson, and she is wearing them in this photograph. I am sure you all like Betty's stockings, of a fine silk mesh. A blouse. It is a blouse, really, but worn with a smart skirt, it makes a charming afternoon costume. Black and red make the color scheme. There is a good neckline, and the blouse ties, as blouses have been doing of late, at the side. From Gidding. Here is a hat, from Giddings. I spied it in their Fifth Avenue window and had it sketched for you. It is a chapeau for the jeune fille. Betty Compson wears this little handmade turban, of grey wool, for windy days. This too is a hat for the debutante. I like it very much. Spain has inspired many of our gowns and hats this season. This one is decidedly Spanish, with its real lace, combining the effects of the mantilla and the comb. Many women count their winter lost if they have not some such fur wrap as this, imported by Gidding. It is of ermine, the queen of furs. It is lined with black satin and sashed with the same. It may also be of any of the other and less expensive furs with the same smart effect. The cinema celebrities are quite as able as anyone to tell you what is being worn. Here is little Lila Lee in the sort of dinner gown I should like to see every young girl wear. It is of orchid, a good shade, and georgette, a good material. It is a simple embroidery design. Mary Miles Minter went to Paris, and of course she shopped. She brought back with her one of the most adorable frocks I have ever seen, a Jean Lavigne model of apple green taffeta with a girdle of flowers with black velvet centers. For the streets, for the office, for traveling, I recommend this suit, worn by Betty Compson. It is of serge and very simply made, but it has an air all its own. You can be, you know, quite as well dressed in a costume such as this as in those more elaborate. There is no set style, no accepted mode this season, says Carolyn Van Wyck. Photoplay, January 1922. The Observations of Carolyn Van Wyck. This winter that is upon us brings us the most unusual and interesting fashions we have ever had. There is no set style, no accepted mode this season. There are daring originalities and amazing conceptions, and long sleeves, and flowing sleeves, and high necks and round necks. There is everything, for every type of woman, for every taste. I hope you will find inspiration for your winter wardrobe among them. I wish to recall to your particular attention the newest gloves from Paris. They are delightful. Carolyn Van Wyck. The Sweetbriar, a charming costume sponsored by Abercrombie & Fitch. The cape and skirt are of imported Scotch tweed with striped borders. The hat is of felt and velvet, of the same color as the suit, which may be gray, copen, or tan. A daring coat dress of duvetine from Russell's, with quite a Cossack air in its high choker collar and its vividly colored embroidery. Note the decidedly different treatment of the sleeves. The smart girl who goes in for sports wears knickers nowadays, and they are especially smart when designed by De Vega and made of English tweed, with a pleated back and belt. Incidentally, this is the very latest for golf. From Paris. Gloves, gloves, and more gloves. And 3 bags. I need not attempt to describe these gloves, for you can see them for yourself. Suffice it to say that they are of many designs and shades, and of the finest French kid. The bags are of velvet with steel beads in various designs. Gloria Swanson, the film star, is noted for her unique headdresses. Here she is wearing 2 big jade combs of fan designs in her hair. Her earrings are also of jade. Here is a smart and stunning semi-fitted coat from C.G. Gunther's & Sons, of broadtail trimmed with chinchilla. Broadtail is extremely good right now. The bell sleeves are trimmed with chinchilla. My favorite coiffure for a debutante, illustrated by Mary Miles Minter. A soft, natural, and very youthful headdress, a wreath of silver leaves. The beautiful and statuesque Marjorie Rambeau wears an evening gown of black, with a gorgeous Spanish shawl. Spanish shawls are really Chinese, you know, or don't you? Hope Hampton and Russick offer a compromise between a fur and a duvetine tailleur, with sleeves and skirts of black duvetine and the rest of the suit of American broadtail. Tea gowns, dressing tables, batik, bags, buckles, and other things. Photoplay, February 1922. A surprise! I have a remarkable feature in store for every woman reader of Photoplay next month. I have made an arrangement with the designers of Bon Ton Patterns to make patterns of moderate-priced gowns specially designed for and worn by famous screen stars. Next month, I intend to introduce this plan to you and permit you to get the pattern of the first gown absolutely without cost. Bon Ton Patterns are absolutely in the best possible taste, so you can see what a surprise I have in store for you. Carolyn Van Wyck. The most adorable tea gown I have ever seen. Beautiful Mabel Ballin is wearing it, and it was designed by Miss Emilia Benda, the sister of the famous Polish artist W.T. Benda. It looks like batik. In reality, it is entirely hand-painted. This is a shimmering thing of soft green, old blue, and coral, with touches of gold and black. Norma Talmadge at her dressing table. You who would adorn your boudoir in rose silk and lace, note the almost severe simplicity with which the emotional star surrounds herself. The large mirror has a unique woven frame. Miss Talmadge's negligee is smart and simple. If you are tall and stately, like Marjorie Rambeau, you should wear such a gown as this, of black crepe with a curious hem and fascinating sleeves. It was designed for the distinguished actress by Jacques. One could wish there was not another thing in the world to do but attend teas when one sees a tea gown like Colleen Moore's. It is such a foolish, feminine trifle, this concoction of lace, moleskin, and georgette. The gorgeous Gloria Swanson is almost an arbiter of fashion. Here she is, several times. In the circle below, there is an effective arrangement of a Russian bodice of Venetian thread, a girdle of plumes, a black Spanish fan, and jade and pearl bracelets. There is a patrician quality about Miss Swanson which saves the sartorial day for her. She is so modern, save for this delicate and delicious patricianism. In the circle below, her profile, a becoming comb, and ebony earrings. In the large picture to the left, still another profile, this time topped by an attractive black hat with graceful streamers. Pins and pendants and buckles, from Paris, by the latest steamer. Rhinestone buckles for the evening slippers, quaint pins of diamond and ebony. Silver pendants, clever copies of antiques, and a pendant earring from an antique design. I have never heard of a woman who did not make the collection of bags one of her pet hobbies. 3 new bags from Paris and 1 silver cigarette case, you may see below. The 2 larger bags are of moire silk, one trimmed with tassels, the other with monkey fur. Paris is the most graceful and feminine city in the world. It has a woman's whims and caprices, and the courage to carry them out. It is justly celebrated as fashion's capital. The smallest bag is the best of all. It is of velvet, with initials and diamonds, and a saucy tassel, true to the most inconsistent traditions of Paris. Mary's New Clothes. Photoplay, June 1922. We can't say much about this picture, although we think it's one of the cutest ever published, because we prefer to meet Mary Pickford face to face. However, it illustrates the lines of a useful as well as ornamental and patriotic frock of blue with loop trimmings of red and white. Mary calls this her water lily dress. It is of shimmery silver-green silk with bands of silver lace and a silver ribbon around the waist tying in a bow at one side and hanging nearly to the bottom of the uneven hemline. It's bad enough trying to describe these gowns, imagine designing one. Mary Pickford went to Paris. The whole world knows that, but here's its first glimpse of what Mary brought back. Gowns by Jean Lavigne, the designer for the jeune fille, French for flapper. Above, a suit of velvet with collar and cuffs of white mouflon. Mary neglected to mention just what mouflon means, and Miss Van Wyck isn't in, so your guess is as good as ours. Another one of the 49 frocks which Mary brought from Lavigne. on which she paid a fearful duty, and which she will wear in her photoplays. This informal evening gown of white chiffon has loops and streamers of the same material in a pretty shade of coral. The girdles as well as the band of trimming across the front and around the sleeves are made of iridescent beads in coral and white.